Alright guys, so here we are for episode number 2 of the F1 2014 Career Mode Championship here in Malaysia. It's definitely not one of my strongest tracks if you've been following the Career Mode series for a very long time, but either way, we're going to do our best to try and do the best job that we can this weekend. We've also got some R&D objectives to achieve this weekend, so we'll do those in Friday practice. If you haven't really been following me on social media like Twitter or anything, then you wouldn't really know that I went on holiday for a week. So this is the first race back. I've done absolutely no practice, so I'm probably going to be a little bit rusty through this practice session, maybe even the qualifying sessions, but for the race I think I should be fine. We'll see how we go with that one. So just going through the setup, just fairly normal, pretty much exactly the same as what we ran in Melbourne. And there we go. The R&D objective is to spend more than 12.8% of the lap under brakes, and unfortunately we weren't actually able to match that until we got to the final straight. I had to jump on the brakes to sort of get it over that threshold, and then after that we passed the R&D objective, of course, and now I'm just trying to string together a couple of laps, just get in with the flow of F1 2014 again, because as I said, it's been over a week since I've actually played the game, and it took me a little while to, I guess, find my feet, and gradually I've been getting quicker and quicker. Until this point, lap 5, I'm now going purple over the entire field, who is headed by Daniel Ricciardo doing a 140.7. We were 9/10 shy of that. Of course, Ricciardo was on the option tyres, I believe. We were on the primes, of course. So, you know, we're looking fairly good at this stage. 7th place in Friday practice isn't too bad. And also goes without saying that we managed to get through Q1 without any issues. So there's no real point in showing that either. So now cutting straight to Q2. I believe there's a 50-odd% chance of rain to occur. Yeah, 53% chance of rain to occur in this session. So what I was thinking here is getting a lap time in straight away, because you never know when it might actually rain. Sometimes it rains at the start, it might rain at the end. It's just good to get a banker under your belt and you know, just play it safe, I guess, because you don't. I've done this before. I think I did it at Spa last season, where I decided to leave the run until the end of the session, and then it turns out it rained towards the end, and I qualified last for the Belgian Grand Prix in Season 1, so that's what we'll be trying to avoid in this session if we can. Looking at the splits there, it's not too encouraging, is it? 7/10 down on Lewis Hamilton's time. Of course, the track is starting to lose a little bit of lap time, but in saying that, it's not that much, maybe 1 or 2 tenths tops. But to be honest, guys, this McLaren isn't really fit to fight it with the front runners just yet. We need to continue to develop this car if we can, and we'll see where we end up. We just really need to get the most out of it, try and get as many points as we can now, and see where we end up. This session though, we've ended up in 9th place, and with the track continuing to get wetter and wetter, I think that's where we're going to end up in this session. So now cutting to Q3, as you can see, intermediate conditions are the sort of forecast for this session. We've gone out on a set of intermediate tyres, but look at that, just the rear traction, the overall grip itself is just not there, is it? I actually think maybe the wet tyres would have been the ideal tyre to put on, so I'm going to put in this banker time, see where we end up anyway, and just maybe go into the primes after this stint is done. Yeah, look at that, look at the rear traction coming off the final corner, there's just absolutely nothing. We set a 159.5, and I think the AI will like 5 seconds faster than that, so definitely time for a set of wets. And with the, I guess the shorter time of the Q3 session means that you really don't have much time to get a good lap in if you make a mistake like we did on the first one. And as you can see there on the race director we just brought up before, we're the only one actually on the wet tyres, so that's very interesting. It could provide us a massive benefit as we head into this final run of Q3. Going through the middle sector now, we'll see the sector split against Sebastian Vettel, who's top of the session so far. We're 2 seconds down on Vettel's time through the middle sector, and we actually lose all of our time in the 3rd sector in the dry, but in the wet we've actually made up that 2 seconds, and we're only 9/100ths away from his time. So if we continue to push, I've put 5 laps of fuel in the car, so we can get maybe 3 hot laps out of this if we can save enough fuel maybe. Going through on the next lap, we're a 10th up on our previous best, but now comes the 3rd sector. We can make up just a little bit of time, we can jump him. No, we're only 100th away, so we're just so close to Vettel's time, but not quite close enough. This is our final chance now, only 30, no, the time's actually expired in the session, so this is it. Whatever lap we do now, we're going to have to live with. Rosberg now goes to the top on a 1:50.4. That's game over. That's 4 seconds faster than what we've done. There's no way we can make up that sort of time. I'm actually pretty curious as to what tyres he's put on. maybe he's put on the intermediate tyres and maybe the track has dried out just enough for those tyres to work again. I have absolutely no idea, but meanwhile, I've just completely bottled that, and it didn't really matter anyway because Rosberg was so much faster than us. Look at that, Daniel Ricciardo, Jenson Button jumping up into the top positions as well. Maybe they switched on to a different compound. We're going to have to check in Race Director because that just makes absolutely no sense. Yeah, that makes no sense. They're on the wet tyres. I was on the same compound as them, so the fact that they were able to jump me by 4 seconds, that is ridiculous. I'd love to know what setup those guys are running. That is just absolutely crazy. So we qualified in P5 for this Grand Prix. Overall, not too bad because our pace in the dry was probably around 8th, 9th, something like that. So we definitely out-qualified our sort of expected position. So we'll see how we go in the race now. I think Jenson is fairly well down. No, he's 3rd. Get in there, Jenson. That's absolutely awesome. So maybe this round we'll see some really good points here for McLaren. So here we are on the grid of the Malaysian Grand Prix. It's a very scattered grid, I must say. Lewis Hamilton down in 10th. I also forgot to say that. 5 red lights, and away we go for the Malaysian Grand Prix. We actually got off to a really good initial start there, but shifting up into 2nd and 3rd gear, we just get that absolute wall of wheel spin. And now coming into turn 1, we'll see if we can make up a few positions. We've got Fernando Alonso on our right-hand side there. We'll try and go up the inside of the cars on our left, and we're up into P4. Try and find a way through Vettel and Rosberg if we can. But yeah, we're just going to settle into 3rd. So fairly good start so far. Moved up in 2 positions. I wonder where Jenson has made himself in this Grand Prix so far. Going up the inside of Nico Rosberg there into P2. Getting a lot of wheel spin, a bit of oversteer on the exit of turn 4 there. That cost us a little bit. Now Vettel is going to get away in this Grand Prix possibly if we don't have the pace in the dry. So now we've got to get our head down, try and catch Vettel if we can. Try and get within that 1 second DRS window and then really mount an attack for the lead of this Grand Prix. I think in terms of the Mercedes, there's no way we're going to be able to match those guys. Maybe a Red Bull, we'll have to wait and see. But there goes Rosberg on the first lap trying to fly past us there. And we'll try and steal a bit of a slipstream now as we come into the final corner. Rosberg sort of backs out of it there, so he doesn't really fancy a battle too much at this stage. Look at him going up the inside into the final corner there. That was so close for comfort there. That was absolutely ridiculous. But now we're going to try and go back up the inside of Rosberg now into turn 1. Put it down into standard to reduce the wheel spin on the exit of turn 1 if we can. Job done, back up into P2. Vettel, while we've sort of been squabbling, has really gotten away with this Grand Prix. He's out 4 or 5 seconds up the road now. And now Ricciardo on the end of lap 2 is now flying past us because we just got a terrible exit off that penultimate corner. And now for the 2nd time in a row, we're going to go side by side into this final corner. The last lap it was Rosberg. This time it's Ricciardo. We have the outside line. This time Ricciardo squeezes us out onto the ripple strip there. But it doesn't really work out too much, does it? I'm trying to sort of get behind Ricciardo to get his slipstream, but we're really not exactly behind him, are we? So we're going to go up the inside into turn 1. Job done, lap 3. Ricciardo is back on the attack this time through the help of DRS. And this time we're going to go side by side into the final corner. Once again, this is a very contested corner, isn't it, between myself and the AI. It seems actually, we're going to have a replay, because I think I might have actually touched Ricciardo. I sort of squeezed him out there, but what actually hurt Ricciardo the most there was Hulkenberg actually hitting him off wide there. So Ricciardo is right behind us now. He hasn't lost too much time, but Hulkenberg has now got himself up into the podium position. So very, very good start so far for Hulkenberg, even though he lost a bit of his front wing, did he, on the previous lap? Yes, he did. He lost his front wing just then in trying to get past us. And I don't know, that was a bit of a weird one because Hulkenberg, he just completely drove into our left rear tyre there. And if the damage model was a little bit more realistic, then we would have got a puncture for sure, just like Lewis Hamilton did back in Spa last year. So anyway, lap 6, we can see we're going up the inside of Nico Hulkenberg now. The tyre wear, I must say, is getting very hard to manage, especially through the final 2 corners. It was very tough to sort of compete with the AI in qualifying through those parts of the track, but now that tyre wear is sort of coming into it, it's actually proving to be a very, very troublesome spot, just like Melbourne, the final corner. But lap 7 we can see Vettel, no, that's Ricciardo, going up our inside, and he actually got away from that point. And now lap 7, I think we're actually coming in on the next lap, maybe even this lap, we'll have to wait and see. Hulkenberg has now got himself up in a third. And now, even I don't even have the braking performance to sort of stay with the AI. Just losing all confidence now on this soft tyre. I'm hoping maybe the medium or the hard tyre, whatever compound it is we put on next, should be a little bit better for us in terms of tyre wear and just durability. Because at the moment we're just getting smashed by tyre wear. Ricciardo going fastest there on the previous lap now that he has fresh air. And now we can see Fernando Alonso pressurising the back of our car now, lap 8. I think we're coming in for a pit stop now, going to surely go onto the prime tyres. That's going to be a welcome change. But now Lewis Hamilton does a double overtake here on this DRS straight, but it's not going to matter too much because we're coming into the pits right now. Is Hamilton going to follow us through? Maybe Alonso as well. Yes, they do. So pretty much the entire field here coming in for their pit stops. Some of the leaders actually not coming in for their stops just yet. I think Ricciardo and Jenson Button have stayed out for another lap, so we'll see how that goes for those guys. But I'm going to be very happy to accept the undercut and now go on to a set of primes, because the tyre wear, as I said before, is killing me. Look at the temperatures on the tyre wear just before you saw that. Now we're getting held up in the pits. We've been jumped by Alonso and Hamilton, and that could prove costly as we come through the rest of this race. We just get out in front of Felipe Massa as well, so we're a little bit lucky that we didn't get jumped by him as well. But either way, lap 9, the very next lap, we can see our teammate Jenson Button, and I think Ricciardo is going to be coming in on this lap as well. So we'll see how many positions we gain as we come up into turn 1 now. And we've been jumped by our teammate. We'll try and hold it around the outside now through turn 1. But we just missed the apex there ever so slightly. Well, we missed it by quite a long way actually, but it's cost us big time here. Now Jenson Button has now got in front of us, but we'll try and stay with him if we can. Jenson getting a really good start now after he dropped a bunch of positions on the first lap, and now he's sort of recovered it, and now he's in front of us now. So very good recovery there from Jenson, and now we'll try and use his slipstream, maybe a bit of DRS to try and break away from the cars behind, including Alonso, Massa, and maybe even Raikkonen. I'm not too sure. Raikkonen, I think he's in P5 at the moment. So we'll see how that goes. Lap 15, we can see we've caught up to the back of our teammate now, just grinding away in the lap times, just trying to get ever so much closer. And now this is our best chance so far of the race. We go up the inside into turn 1. That's job done. And now lap 18, we're coming in for our final pit stop of the race. The original strategy was actually to go onto the option tyres at the end of the race, but screw that. We would have had to stay out for another 2 laps, and with a tyre where I didn't really want to risk losing, complete tread in the tyres or going off the cliff or anything like that. So I'm going to play it safe, go for the undercut, and go into a set of primes for the rest of this race. Pretty much the entire field is going to be coming in for a set of options, so we'll see how that goes. They're going to be coming in on the next lap, and we're going to have to defend pretty hard to maintain any positions we gain in this round of pit stops. So lap 20, we've jumped our teammate Jenson Button there by a long way, a couple seconds actually. As we cut to lap 22, we can see having to avoid Marcus Ericsson there, who was going slowly. I know he was trying to let me through there, but he probably could have done it in a much more, I guess, less risky position on the racetrack. But lap 23, we can see Sergio Perez now has fought his way through the field, and now he's attacking us for P6. Tries to hold around the outside. You can see he's on the option tyres there as we go through the final corner. And look at Sergio with superior traction. Those soft tyres really working well for the AI today, I must say. So it's proving to be very tough to keep these guys behind. We can see Jenson trying to go around the outside into the first corner, but he's not got anywhere to go because Sergio's car is right in the way there. So Jenson is going to lose out there, still in P8 at the moment. We maintain P6 as we go back up the inside of Sergio there a couple of corners ago. Now lap 24, we can see Alonso. He's on the charge now, and he's going to use my slipstream to good effect now as he goes around the outside now, and it's going to be P6 for him. But we're going to try and go up the inside into this first corner once again, just like we did to Sergio Perez a couple of laps ago. Nico Rosberg is going very quick at the moment. I believe he's behind me, I think. Yes, he is. And there he is, speaking of Nico Rosberg, trying to go around the outside through the final corner, or the approach to the final corner rather, but we maintain this position for now. We can see a replay here just showing us going 3 wide there in the approach to the final corner, and very scary moment there for a few seconds. Also, when you consider that we've got realistic damage, it could have easily been a lost wing for Rosberg possibly. But lap 27, we can see Alonso trying to sneak it up the inside there. He put his nose in there, and I had to sort of delay the I guess, the turn-in point because Alonso's car was there. So that cost me a little bit of time. But now, at the end of lap 27, we can see Nico has got in front of Alonso. And now that Mercedes-powered car is going to be very tough to keep behind. You can see him going around the outside there. I'm not going to leave him just enough room to squeeze through, but we're going to go back up the inside into the final corner. It's very close between the two of us there, but Nico has squeezed through for P6 at the moment. It's not quite done yet. I'm going to try and get past him. Once again, I do have DRS, so that does help me out massively in the context of that battle. We maintain P6 for now. It's the final lap. We can see Alonso is in P7 right behind us. Sebastian Vettel has won this race. It's his first race win of the season, and it's also his first race win of the entire career mode, including Season 1. So, very good result for him. And so far, we're going to try and negotiate one more corner now. We should be able to hold on to P6. We get a very, I guess, sloppy run through the final corner. Nico Rosberg is going to be very close. It's going to be another close finish again, but we just maintain P6 for the Malaysian Grand Prix. And those were some crucial points we got there in the end. Jenson Button, no, he's finished 11th. Wow. So, very up and down race for the McLaren guys in the second round of this season. Jenson, after getting a good start, he jumped me in the first round of pit stops. He's not scored any points. So that could cost us a few points or a few positions in the Constructors' Championship, but it's still early days. We're in a massive title fight in the Constructors. You know, sort of, you know, the top of the midfield sort of range. But in terms of this race, though, Sebastian Vettel has won this one. Lewis Hamilton comes home in second. It's his second time in a row that he's come so close to winning. He had to chase down the leader just like he did in Melbourne. But unfortunately, he couldn't just get there in the end. Two DNFers in the end, Max Chilton and Marcus Ericsson, probably clashing together at some point during the race. But there we go, Season 2 of F1 2014 Career Mode. It's been pretty surprising. No Mercedes have won yet. We're 2 races into it, but I'm sure that Mercedes will probably win the next race in Bahrain. It's going to be a very strong track for them. It's also a strong track for me. I got my first win in Season 1 there, so very much looking forward to it. Maybe a podium at that race, possibly a win, who knows. So stay tuned for that episode. In terms of the Constructors, though, McLaren and Mercedes are in 4th place. A little bit, you know, sort of, you know, we're up there, but we're not quite challenging the top teams in Formula 1, and that's mainly down to Jenson. He's had a lot of bad luck in these 2 races. Hopefully he can bounce back strong in Bahrain as well. But that's been episode 2 here for the Malaysian Grand Prix of Career Mode. If you enjoyed it, make sure you guys leave a like. If you're new to the channel, also make sure you subscribe. But until the next race in Bahrain, I'll see you guys next time. Are you serious?